One of the most painful problems about running ads for clients, myself, getting into the space, maybe you're running ads and you're really starting to push up spend and you're starting to struggle with how Meta is performing. There's a lot of common misconceptions around running Facebook ads. And so in this video, I want to break down what some of those common misconceptions are, why they happen, and then things to keep in mind to ground yourself as you're running ads for the first time, especially in the high ticket space. So number one, what are some of the most common misconceptions that I see? Well, number one is that your ads will not fix a broken offer. I don't care how good your ads are. I don't care how good of a copywriter you are. I don't care how good your funnel is. I don't care how good your sales team is. If you have a bad offer, your ads will not fix that. I go back to Hormozi's book series. What is the first book he ever put out? And this is something to be very transparent. I've overlooked for a long time. I got so into the weeds of marketing that I forgot the most fundamental component of the entire thing, the offer. Why do you think that was his first book? Because if you have a good offer, you don't even need to run ads. People will just come back. One of the more interesting things I ever heard him say was that if you can get people to refer you, meaning your referral rate is higher than your churn rate, your business will naturally grow from this gap. And you don't have to do anything if your referral rate is higher than your churn rate. Your business will grow. And if you do nothing, you will have a bigger business. That is what you're looking for when running paid ads. What is the offer that people want to refer out? What is the offer that's a no-brainer? What is the guarantee? What's the risk reversal? What's the components of the offer? What's the result it drives? How is it positioned in the market relative to everybody else? What is the offer? Your ads will not fix a broken offer. It's just not how it works. If you have a broken offer, it's not going to work. If you have a broken funnel, it's not going to work. If you have a broken sales team, it's not going to work. But it all starts with the offer. The second thing I hear all the time is ads don't work for me. Now, this is objectively bullshit. This is a lie. This is a facade that you have told yourself to feel better about the fact that you have a skill issue. You have a skill issue. If ads don't work for you, you have a skill issue because they do work and they've worked for years. Advertising agencies on Madison app, Super Bowl commercials. You see ads hit your feed all the time. I guarantee you, if ads didn't work, they wouldn't be running them. And if they aren't working for you, well, ironically enough, maybe it's because you don't have a good enough offer or your sales team's bad. But ads do work. They will always work. They will work forever. The landscape may change, meaning used to be cable TV ads, now Netflix ads. Used to be, I don't know, maybe there were Vine ads, I can't remember. Vine ads, now there's Instagram ads. Now TikTok's coming out with ads. There will always be a place for ads to be served. Ads will always show up where attention is. Because remember, marketing is just channeling attention. The attention's already there. You just got to channel the right attention. And believing this false lie that ads don't work for me is one of the most detrimental mindsets that you can have. By far. Ads do work for you. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it that ads work for you. And so before I get into things to keep in mind to help you reframe this and get a good understanding as to how to get ads to actually work, one of the more important things to understand is why do these limiting beliefs, false ideas occur in the first place? Why does this happen? The number one reason for this is because humans inherently seek comfort and they avoid rejection. An ad or paid ads is in its purest form, I think it's second to content, a very easy way to experience social rejection at scale. Meaning if I put ads out in the market and they don't convert, it doesn't work for me. Oh, it's not mine, it's not me. And you don't put the blame on yourself, you put the blame on the platform, the trillion-dollar company that takes millions of dollars a day in ad spend. You get caught up in this avoiding rejection and seeking comfort cycle that you aren't willing to push through the part that actually gets you to be successful, or you aren't getting reinforced fast enough. Because the other thing that's very interesting is humans work on feedback loops. So if I do something, I get rewarded, I go back and I do it again. Now, the interesting part is how long does this actually take? What is the time here? If I look at a slot machine, my reward loop is very, very short. That's why you pull it so much, because you get feedback immediately. Lights go off, ding, ding, ding. You look at short form content. You just scroll. You get feedback every 5 seconds. Whereas with paid advertising, especially in high ticket, it's very easy for you to take a much longer time to be reinforced. I can realistically spend $15K a month, 30 grand a month, and break even or go negative. It's very common. I'm not sitting here telling you, oh, ads are profitable month one. No, we run an advertising agency and we're not even saying that. Like, it's very possible, which means this reinforcement loop takes forever and people seek comfort. So if they sit in this pocket of uncomfort, they deal with consistent rejection and there's no feedback for a while, or it's all negative feedback. Well, then you go, oh, I burnt 30 grand. Like, shit, that was bad. I got a good buddy that's probably spent probably had to have spent close to 100 grand on ads. We worked with them for a period. Stuff came up in the business. We ended up parting ways. They went extremely viral and they had to turn the ads off. They'd worked with another agency in the past that had been burnt. They spent their own money as well. They joined mentorship programs. They're probably 100 grand in the hole. Well, just now, but for about a year, year and a half, maybe 2 years, maybe longer. I don't even know how long it's been. They had been trying to crack ads. And then just recently, I told them, hey, put the problem on yourself, solve it. They've been at between a 3 and 5x ROAS, spending about 1.8K a day. And I'm just helping him out, kind of consulting on the side a little bit. But he took ownership. And now he's at a really solid ROAS. Sometimes it takes longer. Ads is not necessarily the easiest thing in the beginning. Now, when you get reinforced, my God, is it fun. My God, is it a ball. But when you're not getting reinforced, it's annoying. It's tough. It's hard. You got to push through it. And so that's where I see the big problem. So now that you understand this about human nature, what are the things to keep in mind in order for you to run successful ads and be able to push through the obstacles that may come up in your journey. So number one, there's a concept that I learned from a mentor, Mr. Jeremy Haynes. He puts the name to it, called the burn rate. And the burn rate is a graph that looks a little bit like this. This represents most people's paid advertising journey, meaning they start here and they're spending money and they're just burning money, burning money, burning money. And then all of a sudden, they start to solve the right problems. They figure out the things that are holding them back from spending more. And then boom, they explode and they're able to scale. That's the burn rate. It's this period right here. Now in practice, what does this look like? All that you're doing with the burn rate is you are paying to solve problems. And with each problem you solve, you increase profitability of that specific funnel. So for example, I may be at a 0.5 ROAS until here, and then I may be at a 1.5, and then I may be at a 2. And then as I break past it, now I'm profitable at, let's say, a 3 to 5x, whatever it is. But what I'm doing is I'm solving for problems. This may be show rate, this may be close rate, this may be collection rate, this may be a booked call rate, whatever it is. I'm going to solve for these problems. An important reframe to keep in mind with paid advertising is, remember, when you're running ads, all you're doing is paying for data. You're paying for problems to be revealed for you to then solve. And that is it. That is the entirety of this. Now, the reason that in understanding this concept is so important is because it changes one extremely interesting aspect of building a business in general. And it's this idea of identity and focus. One of the most common problems I see is that people tie their identity too much to the outcome. Meaning, ads don't work for me. Oh, I'm a bad advertiser. Or they're not working, I'm a bad advertiser. Oh, I can't close deals, I'm a bad salesperson. Oh, I can't get high performing content, I'm a bad content creator. People don't like me. Oh, that's a problem. Understanding your identity is important, but you can never tie your identity to the outcome. One of the most interesting talks I ever heard was by Nick Saban. Nick Saban and Kurt Cignetti, if you follow college football at all. And it was Kurt Cignetti relaying this lesson he had learned from Saban. And then I went deep on the rabbit hole of Saban. They built one of the best college football organizations ever. Cignetti had one of the best turnarounds in any school's history. And Saban was one of the most dominant coaches to ever step foot into the college football arena. And the way that they did this was by focusing on the process over the outcome. He said, I didn't care about winning. I just wanted to show up every day and be my best and do my best and focus on the process. And as a byproduct of making the process the best they could, they achieved the outcome that they then desired, winning a natty. Didn't care how long it took. Just follow the process. Didn't care what hiccups came in the way. Just follow the process. And this is the reframe that you need to take with paid ads, is that where you put your focus has a direct correlation with the performance of the campaigns. If all my focus is on, oh, I've got super bad leads. Yeah, you do. Now what? Why am I even focusing on that? That is the indicator that tells me what to focus on. Oh, my close rate dips. Well, okay, is it a lead quality thing? Is it a sales rep thing? Is it a setter thing? Are they qualifying bad? Where's my focus? And so your job as an advertiser is to make sure that your focus is on one thing, and that is the constraint. If all you did was focus on the constraint, your identity would not be tied up in the outcome. Therefore, you would take more action, you would test more aggressively, and you would also, going back to the conversation I had earlier, be reinforced a lot faster. The faster the reinforcement loop, the more likely you are to double down, the more likely you are to solve those problems at a more aggressive rate, the faster you'll get the result that you want. It is very straightforward. And so this concept here of understanding that your identity should not be tied to the outcome and that your focus should always be on the constraint is the secret to running paid ads profitably. It is the unlock where your brain will go, I got it. I understand now. I can run ads profitably and effectively. That is the secret to this entire thing. And so this brings me to the very last concept, because I mentioned the constraint, didn't really explain what that meant. In business, we have a principle that we follow called thinking in bottlenecks. All that this is what is the number one problem that I need to solve for that will make me more money and then reveal to me the number two problem. A lot of people, advertisers, business owners, etc., will try to solve problem 1 and 2, and they don't even know if number 2 is a valid problem to be solving, or if it will be solved as a byproduct of solving problem 1. They have no idea, not a clue. And so instead of trying to solve for, let's just take an advertising example, show rate, close rate, booked call rate, collection rate, click-through rate, CPMs, all at once, let me pick the one of these metrics, let's say for example it's your collection rate, and let me solve for this, and put all my focus on this, and then therefore the rest will improve, I will make more money. My identity should be tied in solving the one problem that's at hand. Focusing on the process. This change in mindset alone has by far the biggest impact because again, you are paying for data and you are solving problems as they arise. Ads do work for you. I guarantee you. This is one of the most false statements to ever exist in the world of paid advertising. If so, ads would not be a thing. If there's a competitor in your niche, great. And if they aren't working, just make sure you do have an offer that works, that people actually want, that converts, a grand slam offer, as you say. If you're curious, to learn where you might be getting stuck, what the constraint is in your business, there's going to be a link below. You can fill out the application book called with myself or a member of the team. And our goal is to help you find the constraint so that you can attack it and get ads to finally work for you. So if you like content like this, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below with what you want to see next. I appreciate you guys. I will see you in the next one.